ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ. So Vidyaranya in this chapter is revealing Brahman as a Sakshi. The Jagat Karan Brahman, he pervades the body mind sense complex. One more step it is a Sakshi, witness to the mind, witness to the various thoughts in the mind called Aham Vritti, Idam Vritti, etc. So Sakshi of here Triputi, it has been said, Pramata, Pramanam and Prameyam, etc. So Pramata is one part of the mind, Pramanam is another part of the mind, and Prameyam is the known object, which is external object. And these are all Jadam. So basically, if all of them are inert actually, mind is Jadam, the external object is Jadam, then how knowing takes place, how knowing process happens? Well, because in a knowing process, we cannot imagine a knowing process without there is a consciousness. Without consciousness, we cannot say there is a knowing process. So you can't imagine knowledge, right, without a conscious principle. Knower, definitely must be conscious being. Knowing process is a conscious process. Consciousness is there. And object, external object is known. When you say, definitely known means it's an object of knowledge, means object of consciousness. So that is also pervaded by consciousness. So therefore, knownness itself is possible when it is an object of knowledge, object of consciousness. And so all the three require a independent principle. The Pramada, Pramanam, Prameyam, means the mind and external object, in short, definitely requires a fourth principle. The independent principle, distinct in terms of nature, distinct in terms of reality also, but let's say distinct in terms of nature, must be consciousness, because the other three are inert. And so that consciousness is called the witness consciousness, basically. And in the presence of this Sakshi, all the three functions. So Sakshi basically does not take part in the function. Sakshi does not participate. Its presence, of course, is required. Without its presence, this knowing process itself doesn't happen. And therefore, Vidyaranya gave an example of Nuttashala Sthadipaha. Vidyaranya gave an example of a lamp in that theater. Lamp itself does not play any role in teaching, does not play a role of a teacher, let us say, a student, or even understanding process. Right now I'm here, means there is a lamp here, that's how I'm saying. So this Sakshi basically is independent of that. And here in our case also, Sakshi was identified with the Triputi, and that is how the knowledge takes place. So, and we in verse 16, that nature of Sakshi is described. So we know Sakshi is a non-participating, non-changing, and simultaneous uniform illuminator of Triputi, uniformly illuminating all the three. So now Vidyaranya says, well, not only that it is uniformly or non-changing, etc., it is also a non-located illuminator. It doesn't have any location. Paramatma is of course a illuminator of Prameya, etc., we say, in a way, but Paramatma is a part of the mind. It is located within the body. Pramanam, the knowing process, also is within the body. Both are internal, but the Prameyam is located outside the body. So we feel, well, Sakshi also must have a location. We have a habit of looking for a location, and that is how, when we definitely, when we meet some new friend or something, we ask, where do you live? So basically we have this is called an orientation. Our intellect has an already orientation of identifying a place for a given thing, and therefore it's a very conventional approach on the part of intellect. But basically, so same way we ask, where is this Sakshi located? Is it inside, outside, etc.? Vidyaranya says, well, that's a wrong concept, and you have to neutralize this tendency of your intellect here. So far as Sakshi is concerned, Sakshi does not have any location. It illumines Pramata Pramanam inside and Prameyam outside. It is neither inside nor outside, or it is simultaneously inside outside. You can say that way. So, well, definitely in verse 16, Vidyaranya says, Bahirantaha vibhagaha dehapekshaha. Well, with respect to, or from the standpoint of the body, well, there is a internal external division, and that is possible. And you can, so from the Pramata Pramanam, well, our inside, Prameyam is outside, that is inside the body, outside the body, that is with respect to body, you can definitely say. But with respect to Sakshi, there is no such division of internal out and external, not inside, outside, etc. Sakshi is all pervading consciousness. It pervades the entire body, and that's how even the body exists in consciousness, naturally. There is no body without your being conscious of it. No one can prove this. So definitely when you say body is, body consciousness is. And so external object is, external object consciousness is. The mind is, mind consciousness is. Pramata is, Pramata consciousness is. Therefore, a whole thing exists in consciousness. And they exist in consciousness. Whereas, from the standpoint of the body, well, Pramata Pramanam is inside, Prameyam is outside. That is what it has been said. Bahiranta vibhagaha dehapekshaha na sakshini. With respect to Sakshi, well, there is no division. Vishayaha bahya dehasthaha. So, well, the Vishayas, the objects basically are bahyasthaha, bahya deshasthaha. They are out external. Prameyas are out external. Dehasya antaha ahankritihi. So, ahankara, the pramata, etc. is inside. So this has been, I think we did this also. And I would like to say something here, and that is, I think I have clarified this point, but I would like to say some again, perhaps it may be a repetition also. So now, who illumines the mind and who illumines the world? We have taken the example of tank, etc., and understood that, just I get the water, well, the credit goes to whom? The one who opens the tap, or credit goes to the tank, etc. I already discussed that. But here let's directly take into our own case here. Who illumines the mind? Who illumines the world? So, well, we should say this consciousness, the Sakshi, illumines the mind. And Chidabhasa illumines the world. We should say that way. Consciousness directly illumines the Pramata, naturally. Of course, there is a reflection in that, that's another thing. But consciousness illumines the mind, that is pramana and pramata directly. You can say consciousness illumines mind directly, which is of course aham vritti, the vritti, pramata and pramana is nothing but the mind. Consciousness illumines mind directly, whereas consciousness illumines the objects, the world, as a chidabhasa. So it is like, like we say, moonlight illumines the earth. That's fine. But who illumines the moon? Well, if someone says, well, does the moonlight illumines the moon? No. Sunlight illumines the moon. Right? If moonlight illumines the moon, then definitely moon becomes self-luminous. But that's not the case. So therefore, we should say sunlight illumines the moon, and moonlight illumines the world in a night. It's not because you may think, Swamiji, in a day where night, I'm saying. So basically, so we have to take it that way. So sunlight illumines the moon, and therefore there will be a reflection of the sunlight on the moon, that's called moonlight. That reflected sunlight, which is called moonlight, illumines the moon, illumines the world. So that is how we have to understand this. Moonlight there is nothing called moonlight as such. That is only reflected sunlight. Same way this ahankara it cannot illumine the world. But the consciousness which illumines the mind, the pramata, gains that reflection of the consciousness, chidabhasa, and in turn that chidabhasa with aham kriti, ahankara, illumines the world. So that is how we have to understand. So that is the only thing I wanted to clarify. And now verse number 17. Antasthadihi sahaivakshahi bahiryati punah punah bhasya buddhista chanchalyam sakshinyaropyate vritha. So now he says, bhasya buddhista chanchalyam. Bhasya buddhi, which is bhasya, which is illumined. Bhasya buddhistha chanchalyam. So there is in a mind which is illumined by the sakshi is basically chanchalyam. There is a chanchalyam is a special word. Chalanam means a movement. But from that word chalanam, they apply some suffix. And they call it as a frequentative suffix. And you get a new word called chanchalyam or chanchalam. Chalanam, and then chanchalam. So, chalam and chanchalam, that's better. You can say chanchalanam also, but that is chalam, movement. From chal dhatu, means to move. Chalam is a noun. Chalam means a movement. And you add some suffix, it's called frequentative suffix, becomes chanchalam. Frequentative suffix means what? That action is done frequentatively, more and more, repetitively, vigorously. So chalana, movement of the mind is there, that's fine. But we want to show that the mind constantly and vigorously moves. For that, we may add this frequentative and make word chanchalam. And tasya bhavaha chanchalyam. The status of the mind being repeatedly moving, vigorously moving, is called chanchalyam. So, buddhi chanchalyam. Buddhehe chanchalyam. This chanchalyam, etc., the movement, of the buddhi, of the mind, which type of buddhi? Bhasyastha. Bhasya buddhistha chanchalyam. The chanchalyam which is present in the buddhi is what type of buddhi? Bhasyam, which is illumined by the sakshi. So this is bhasya buddhistha chanchalyam. What it says? Sakshini aropyate. Naturally, it is all aropya. Now he is talking about adhyasa. Example is over now. That Nrityashala example is over. Now he is talking about this adhyasa. Sakshini aropyate. So the movement basically of the mind, and this vigorous movement of the mind basically is superimposed upon the upon the Sakshi. So I commit a mistake. I illumine the mind, but I identified with the mind, I identified with the chanchalyam of the mind, and I say I am disturbed. Right? So this is called subject-object error. It's called a superposition or called subject-object error because you illumine the mind. So mind is an object of illumination and you are the illuminator, Sakshi. But basically, even though you illumine the moving, vigorously moving mind, you take yourself to be moving, means, disturbed. So, I transfer the attributes of the mind upon myself. So, means what? I take myself as a ahankara, pramata. Pramata is affected, if you remember the example, I said that the one who owns this dance troupe is affected by the dancer's performance. So if dancer performs well, he will be very happy because he owns the whole troupe. He has identified with the dancer. He is identified with the troupe, you can say. And therefore, if she performs well, he definitely understands. When he owns a dance troupe, well, he understands what is dance, etc., classical dance. So, when she performs well, he is happy. When she is not performing well, he is not happy. Here in our case, so the ahankara means the pramata is the owner of what? The troupe. What? Mind and senses. There is I sense in the mind. I sense in the senses, and therefore that is ahankara, pramata. So this pramata has identification with the mind, dancer. That's fine. But when I say, even though I illumine the whole mind, including pramata and pramanam, the dancer and this troupe, that lamp, I am like a lamp who illumines the person who owns the troupe, and you also the lamp illumines even the dancer also. That lamp somehow, suppose, identifies with the dancer and the owner, and the owner's expression basically becomes, let us say, a expression of the light, etc. That kind of a thing. It doesn't happen there. That's how the example is given for the lamp as a sakshi, which is not affected by the success of the program or any mood of the owner or mood of the dancer. The light is not at all affected. Light is just illumining. Anyway, so here in our case, sakshi identifies with the pramata, right, ahankara, and therefore he is affected by the movement of the mind, movement of the dance, basically. And this is a very vigorous dance, the greatest dancer in the world, who is most vigorous, is the mind. And this dance program, they call it as even a chamber dance program. It's a private, it's for you. And all the 9 rasas, are expressed by the dancer, and that is, I told you, the Shungaram. Shungaram means the love or beauty, that also is expressed. And then Veeram, sometimes your mind shows courage. Then Karunam, sorrow. Then Raudram, anger. Sometimes your mind hasyam, laughter, very happy. Then Bhayankaram or Bhayanakam, that is terror, fear. Mind becomes fearful. Then Bibhatsam, mind shows disgust. Then Adbhutam, sometimes your mind is wonderstruck, so surprise, wonder, etc. Shantam, mind is sometimes very tranquil. All the 9 rasas, which generally a dancer, classical dancer, expresses during a dance, your mind also is expressing. So basically, definitely, if you are not identified with the dancer, if you are not a pramata, If you know yourself as a sakshi, this is the whole thing, the whole waking state is a great entertainment. Every waking hours, all waking hours, day by day, becomes a great entertainment for the person. So it's an exclusive program for you basically. But so if you say yourself as a sakshi, well, the life is not a burden. But if you say you are a pramata, and pramata is identified with the dancer, the pramana, etc. The other part of the mind means whatever the mind presents, pramata, the owner, identifies with that. If you take yourself as a pramata ahankara, then definitely all these nine rasas do not belong to the dancer, they belong to you. Means you are identified. So if you take yourself as a pramata, then the life is burden, definitely. Ashantasya manobharaha. See? Ashantasya manobharaha. Bharaha means a burden. Manobharaha. The burden of the mind is basically my burden. So means all these varieties of the emotions which are expressed by the mind, they are of the mind only, which is an object of illumination. You are the one who is a illuminator, subject basically, and therefore definitely why should you get identified with that? But you identify with the aham vritti, and then once you identify with the aham vritti, means you identify with the pramata ahankara, then antastha dhihi means the pramana part of the mind, idam vritti of the mind, sahaiva akshaihi bahihi yati. Akshaihi saha, with the help of the five sense organs, well, along with the bahihi yati, goes outside. Idam vritti goes outside, and I the sakshi never goes outside, but looks like I go out, etc. So wherever vritti goes, actually consciousness is already there, being all pervading. Wherever the vritti goes, there will be always a chidabhasa. In fact, chidabhasa doesn't go anywhere. Initially, I told you just for the sake of that, this phalavyapti, that vritti vyapti and phalavyapti. I said along with the vritti, chidabhasa goes out. But frankly speaking, if you think, if there is chidabhasa, doesn't go out also. Like, I will tell you, so we move a mirror from one place to another. So when you take a mirror from one place to another, you feel the reflected sun also moves, but it's not true. In fact, only mirror moves. But when the sun being all pervading, it continuously forms a reflection wherever you take your mirror. So the even reflected sun also doesn't move. Frankly speaking, you get a new reflection all the time, because as you move, the sun is there, it continuously forms reflection. Same with the consciousness is all pervading. So wherever vritti goes, idam vritti goes outside and contact any object, since the vritti definitely can reflect the consciousness which is all pervading, you will have a chidabhasa all the time, which definitely because of that, a external object is also illumined. So prameya, and the object is known because of chidabhasa, of course, but we feel the chidabhasa goes along with the vritti outside. Really speaking, it's not true. The vritti, the mind, idam vritti, which is a part of the mind, pramana bhaga, goes outside, contact the object, but consciousness being all pervading, definitely chidabhasa will be formed. So anywhere your vritti goes, or contacting any object, the vritti is like this darpanam, mirror, and consciousness will be reflected in that, and because of that, that object will be known, illumined, you can say. So bahihi yati punah punaha. This idam vritti goes again and again, contacting various objects, shabda vrittis, chakshusha vritti, etc., and varieties of the objects. And every time a reflection is formed, not that the consciousness in form of a reflection goes out. So consciousness doesn't go out, naturally it's all pervading consciousness, there is no question of going out, etc. And even the reflected consciousness also do not go out. Anyway, so this is just a thing. So Sakshini aropyate vrutha. So basically, the Sakshi is not affected by the conditions of the mind, by the moods of the mind, by this all navarasas of the mind, but falsely we identified with the mind, called pramata especially, and I take myself as a pramata, and being a pramata now, I identified with the dancer, the mind, idamvritti, etc. So whatever the mind presents, any type of a mood, by contacting the objects, well, I also undergo the same change. Shankaracharya ji gives an example for this. He says like this means I basically am not moving, I am not disturbed, etc. by these all expressions, but I feel that I am affected, and for that he gives an example that there is a moon on a full moon day, full moon night, I'm sorry, and and then there are clouds which are passing below that. So they are seen due to moonlight. So moon is illuminated, clouds are illumined, right? But it happens so because of wind. Well, definitely these clouds move faster. Then for an observer, it feels that the moon is moving fast and not the clouds. Even though the clouds which are illumined by the moon are moving fast, moon is not moving fast. Moon is has a certain movement, but compared to clouds, we can say stationary. Well, so we feel the movement of the clouds, which is actually object of illumination, transferred to the illuminator, and we say the moon is moving fast. This is very, very common. Same way here, the Sakshi, which is all pervading, which is Kutastha, which is unchanging, which doesn't move at all, but well, it illumines the mind, and but well, all the dharmas of the mind, etc., are transferred on the illuminator, the Sakshi. So this happens in waking state, very common. So this is what in verse number 17 it has been said. There is another example also when we travel in a train, especially you people are in the United States, so may not be having that experience, but the Indians who have gone to India, then definitely they also have this experience that as the destination is very near, well then like you are traveling from Mumbai to Delhi in a train, let us say, and as you are reaching near to the Delhi, well, you people talk as passengers of the train inside that the Delhi is coming. The Delhi is coming. Delhi is not coming. The whole city doesn't move and approaches towards you. Oh, the train is going there, but you reverse it. So this is what is happening. So as the train reaches to the Delhi, instead you say the Delhi is reaching to you, Delhi is approaching to you. So this is how Delhi is stationary, but you superimpose a movement, etc., on that this place and say it is approaching to you. And so this is how, well, so motion of a Triputi basically, especially Pramata here, is transferred to the Sakshi, and Sakshi appears chanchalam, disturbed. That's what we say, I am disturbed. When you say that, definitely you are identified as a Pramata with aham vritti. And that Sakshi is I. When the mind is turbulent, I say I am disturbed. This is called samsara. I am Sakshi of disturbed mind, then well, you are free. You are free. So, freedom is in your hand. That's what it is. There is not that you have to gain the freedom from samsara. Freedom is in your hand. Only you have to constantly, awarefully, alertly, you have to do this viveka. That viveka is a Sakshi Ahankara Viveka. That's it. Sakshi Ahankara Viveka will make you free. You are free, unnecessarily identifying with this dancer, becoming a pramata, becoming an owner of the truth. You are creating a problem for yourself. that identification, the cause is just ignorance. There is nothing else. Which to remove the ignorance is in the hand of the human being. And that's how the free will is given to you. And therefore it's in your hand. We cannot blame anybody for samsara in my life, really speaking. To remove the samsara is in your hand. It's a purushartha. That's how we say there is only purushartha, which is a really purushartha, parama purushartha we say, that is gaining moksha. So bhasya buddhistha chanchalyam, the disturbance in the buddhi which is illumined by the sakshi, aropyate is falsely transferred, means adhyaropa, adhyasa, sakshini, vrutha, unnecessarily. See, vrutha, unnecessarily you are inviting disturbance without any valid reason. No valid reason is there. Ajnanam is not a valid reason. Ajnanam is a mithya basically. Anyway, unnecessary on sakshi, you all this, you transfer the properties of the mind. So we get only disadvantage by that. Verse number 80. Grhantaragata svalpaha gavakshadatapochalah tatra haste nartyamane nrityativa tapo yatha. Vidyaranya gives an example to convey this idea. That attribute of, another example, attribute of the illumined object is falsely transferred to the illuminator. For that this is very important, because I am ultimately the illuminator. That's only my nature. Illumination is my nature. No deliberation, no will, nothing. Illumination, and just illumination, day in and out, day and night, just illumination is my nature. Just illumination, nothing. Whether the troupe and the audience will be there or not in the hall, or they all go away, only illumination is my nature. That's the nature of lamp. Nature doesn't have that, the lamp doesn't have a will, all of them have gone away, let me also take some rest now. No, it continues to illuminate. So this is what you are. As a consciousness, self-illumining principle, self-existing principle, this is you. Either you say, well, I am pure existence, whose nature is consciousness, or you say I am just consciousness whose nature is existence, whichever is. Nighttime I am ease, or I ease. Day I ease. Dream I ease. That's it. That's your own experience. That's your own experience. That's how you say, well, I was dreaming, I slept, I am awake now. So that I is this sakshi, which is all the time there. Waker cannot be in a dream, dreamer cannot be in a deep sleep, deep sleeper cannot be in a waking. Therefore, they all are ahankara, pramata, etc. So anyway, so all turbulences of the mind, samsara is not due to mind, but due to this emotional disturbance of the mind. Oh Saji, that's how I said that samsara is due to emotional disturbance of the mind. That's not correct. Samsara is not due to emotional disturbance of the mind. That's how mind has to present. It's a dancer. It has to show all emotions, varieties of expressions. Samsara is because of the transference of the emotional disturbance of the mind on myself. Samsara is not due to emotional disturbance of the mind. Samsara is due to the transfer, the false transference. Really, they are not transferred. They are really not transferred. Even when you say, I am angry, therefore anger of the mind has been transferred on me, and therefore I am really angry now. That's also wrong. It's a false transference, because the subject is subject, object is object. If you take object as a subject, you feel that all of them all this disturbance belong to you, really speaking. If they really belong to you, means you have become samsari now, means you have really now emotional disturbances, Vedanta doesn't work. Vedanta, right now, a emotionally disturbed person is there. Vedanta is telling to that person, you are free from emotional disturbance. You are free. So better not false transference of that all that you don't do. That's what it says. So moksha is this stopping, transferring these attributes of mind to myself. Improving mind is for various reasons. Well, moksha does not deal with that. In fact, Vedanta has not much to deal with that. It's only for preparation we say sometime that you have to improve, refine your mind, etc. Well, but really speaking, the moksha deals with this transference, false transference. A real, not transfer. It is exactly a transference of the attributes of the flower on the crystal. Really, there is no transference. It's in your perception only that now the crystal has become red on account of the red rose which is nearby. Really speaking, it has not become red. When you see it as a red, at the time itself it is a colorless crystal. So that kind of a thing. There is no transfer. That's how we call upadhi. So this mind is etc. We call it as a upadhi of the sakshi, is because, well, there is a false transference. It's your own perception. It's an error, basically. It's an error, which we call subject-object error, illumined error. What is illumined actually? You take as a what is illumined, all the attributes of the illumined object. Let's say you transfer on the illuminator and you take it as that. So after transferring these disturbances, then if you try to improve the mind, etc., you find it very, very difficult. So stop the transference. Well, it's a very objective approach. So claim that disturbance has that it has nothing to do with me. I am free. When your mind is angry, you say I am free. Then you are really free. When your mind is expressing a fear, at the time you say I am free from fear. That's a real knowledge. Okay, not that the mind has become free from freedom. Mind has got a freedom from fear. Then I say, well, I am free. Means you have taken yourself as a mind. That's not knowledge. That's not knowledge. Yeah. So improving mind, etc. Also we give it up. Frankly speaking, we to an extent it is fine so far as our this certain emotional immaturity in terms of fulfilling raga dveshas, etc. If to an extent we have a hold over our likes and dislikes, whether to fulfill them or not, well, you have a certain say over them. That's it. We stop the improving the mind. Rest everything is taken care of by this knowledge, etc. So Vidyaranya gives now example of Adhyasa, as I told you here, and that is one example we saw of the Atmabodha, I told you. And now he says here that imagine a very dark room, and outside there is a sunlight. It's a closed room, and imagine a patch of sunlight is entering through the slit in the window, and it forms a image on the wall of the room. Now sun definitely is relatively stationary, and therefore sunlight also doesn't move. Achalam, it said here, achalam, it doesn't move. And I keep a hand on the path of that, the beam of that light, sunlight. If I keep a hand on the path and move that hand, that motion, even though belongs to hand, and hand is basically illumined it's an illumined object, illumined by the sunlight, and sunlight is an illuminator. When I move hand, well, basically, you find that basically a patch of sunlight is moving. Sunlight doesn't move, but due to movement of the hand which is an illumined object, its movement basically, and because you see certain things, right? You see People make some kind of like this, some deer, the head of the deer, or something some any other varieties of the, with the fingers you make varieties of the, the shapes and etc. Well, it's all the movement of the fingers, hand, etc. is, well, definitely transferred to the sunlight, and we feel the sunlight is moving. So, salpaha atapaha, small patch of sunlight, grihantargatah, which has entered the house, gavakshat, means through the window, it has come inside, haste nartyamane sati. So, when the hand and fingers move, like a jumping deer or flying crow or something, nartyamane sati, well, yatha atapaha nrityati eva. So, we feel the sunlight appearing and coming and going, etc., or undergoes a change, etc. Well, it is not so. The illumined object's movement is the transfer, the movement of this illumined object hand is transferred on the illuminator, the sunlight, etc. He gives another example. In Atmabodha, as I told you, he gave example of that moonlight, the full moonlight, and then clouds, etc. The movement of the clouds is transferred to the moon, and we feel the moon is moving faster, etc. There he gave that example. Here he is giving another example. So, verse number 19. Nijasthan sthita sakshi bahirantargamagamo akarvan buddhi chanchalyat karoti vatatha tatha. Now, Dashtanta. The example is given in the 18th verse. He now applies that example here. So, in the place of a moving hand, well, here what is moving? Vigorously moving? The dancer, the mind. And of course, the mind is moving, means the dancer is moving, the pramana bhaga is moving, idam vritti. Accordingly, aham vritti also undergoes a change. The pramata also undergoes a change. Right? The owner of that troupe, dance troupe, who is identified with the dancer. As the dancer shows varieties of expressions, various bhava, the pramata also undergoes a change. So that is, the whole thing is mind ultimately. So in the place of a moving hand, this vigorously moving mind we have to take, and that sunlight which is not moving, here we have to take it as a sakshi. So nijasthana sthitaha sakshi. Well, the sakshi which is nijasthana means basically unlocated sakshi, remaining wherever it is, means it doesn't move at all. Bahirantar gama gama, moving outward and coming inward, we feel. Akurvan, even though it is not doing that, akurvan is a naya tatpurusha. Na kurvan, akurvan, etc. Is a present active participle, and they have made in a tatpurusha samasa called naya tatpurusha samasa. Akurvan means na kurvan, akurvan. So without undergoing any movement, bahirantar gama gama karoti iva. Well, that sakshi doesn't move at all, but it appears to go out and come in, tatha tatha, in keeping with the moving mind, etc. Because of what? Chanchalya, because of the vigorous movement of this mind, and due to identification, well, this sakshi also appears to be moving, disturbed, etc. The body loses its movement, faster movement when we grow old, and it takes a lot of time even to get up also from the seat, and you feel that basically now your movement has become slow, etc. Identifying with the body also. Ahankara can be, please understand, ahankara can be presented in various ways. Ahankara can be just pramata. But this aham, ahamvritti, ahankara has that, has a nature of basically owning up everything. So, just a mind means pramata. Now, further it owns up the senses. Then we say seer, hearer, etc. Fine. Then further, with the hunger, thirst, etc. Then he says, I am hungry, I am thirsty, etc. That is a prana's dharma. But it owns up prana also. So like that, the entire subtle body is owned up. That's also ahankara. Just mind, pramada, ahankara. With the senses, ahankara. With the hunger, thirst, etc., ahankara. Now the subtle body pervades this gross body, and therefore you say now the gross body also you own up, and therefore you say now I'm a human being, etc. That's also ahankara. So ahankara can be presented with respect to just mind, with respect to the entire subtle body, or with respect to even gross body also. Kindly understand, because sometimes when I say that like this, then you say, Swamiji, ahankara means just a mind, you said. Pramata only you said. So it can be taken anyway, because there is a aham, there is a I sense in this body, naturally. And therefore, that shows that ahankara, which has definitely arisen due to, in the mind, when the mind becomes conscious, ahamvritti, idamvritti arises. So pramata arises in the mind, a part of the mind it is, part of the mind, but owns up. Ahankara is the nature of owning up, basically. Any activity in the body, senses, pranas, it owns up everything. So activity of the senses, means the eyes, etc., also it owns up. So seeing is done by the eyes, but no, I am a seer. So this is called ahankara. Anyway, so even here, I'm just movement, I'm taking a little further, that body loses its faster movement when we grow old, and takes a lot of time to get up. You feel that basically your movement has been slowed down, etc. There is no movement in Sakshi, you are Sakshi. Yeah, but mind's motion is faster, definitely, compared to any other thing. So motion in mind they call as a emotion, actually. It's a motion of mind. That's called emotion. And so I say, well, I have a sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, I don't have a sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, I have likes and dislikes. Swamiji, all this is good. What you say is very fine, but you know, Swamiji, I have so many likes and dislikes, and therefore I am not qualified for this knowledge. All this is ahankara, which has no reality at all. The reality of mind is a reality of the ahankara. And mind's reality is, mind is mithya. There is no mind without being conscious of it. So basically, the whole mind exists in consciousness, and therefore even the pramata, ahankara also is mithya. There is nothing in that ahankara which is real. Ahamvritti plus chidabhasa is ahankara, and that is pramata, we say knower. Naturally, knower has a consciousness, but that consciousness is a borrowed consciousness from the sakshi. And therefore, and there is another ahamvritti, that's it. So ahamvritti, there is a mind. Chidabhasa, there is a reflected consciousness, is mithya. Ahamvritti, that is mind, is mithya. And therefore, ahamvritti plus chidabhasa, which is a pramata, ahankara, etc., is mithya. Mithya means which doesn't have any reality on its own. And therefore, but since I identify with that and I tell myself as a pramata, like the actor identifies with the particular role and tells and understands that I am really a beggar, then definitely invites all problems. Same way here, I also invite a lot of problems by identifying with the mind and identify with the pramata. And then as the mind, definitely the dancer shows varieties of the moods, the pramata, the owner also, basically shows all the moods. Whatever happens in mind, because as ahankara I am going to own up. As whatever happens at the level of senses, I am going to own up. Whatever happens at the level of prana, I am going to own up. Therefore, you say, Swamiji, I have an issue with the blood circulation. I have issue, you can say I have or you say I have a blockage. People say that I have a blockage. So you don't have any blockage. Okay, all the blockage and not blockage, all these things exist in you. They are all mithya. But you identified at every level. I am black, I am this, I am man, I am woman, I am a householder, I am sannyasi. All issue, all ahankara. And that's true. Since it pervades subtle body pervades the gross body, therefore it remains there. If subtle body pervades outside, the eye sense pervades also further. But fortunately, unfortunately, whatever, so up to the gross body. And therefore remains, because subtle body cannot pervade more than this gross body, right? And therefore this ahankara, that's how we used to say that it is a function of the mind in those, tattva-boda, manaha, buddhi, chittam, anahankara. So basically ahankara is this I sense, which has a capacity to own up everything. It should be there. It's a Ishvara's creation. Very beautiful. Because activity is there, and then there should be a karta, some subject should be there, and therefore, well, Bhagavan's creation. So basically, this ahankara. Yeah. But the reality of ahankara we should know. Ahankara remains as a mithya. Ahankara will remain throughout the prarabdha. Otherwise, where is prarabdha? Who undergoes the sukham, dukkham, etc.? Ahankara only. Therefore, it is Ishvara's creation. Please understand. The reality of I am ahankara, that is ignorance, karana sharira. That I am ahankara, I am jiva, I am individual. I am an individual conscious being. That's a job of a jiva valve to falsify. Yeah, that's a jnana. Ahankara is a part of the creation. But ahankara is real, that's a jnana. I am ahankara, that's a jnana. So, therefore, jnani also says, I am eating, I am this, I am teaching this. This is ahankara, simply ahankara. But he knows it is mithya. And that stays till the body is there. Once the body goes, that identification with the body, mind, senses also goes away, etc. So anyway. I have a sadhan chatushtaya sampatti, Swamiji. It's also mistake. I don't have a sadhan chatushtaya sampatti. Mistake. Therefore, why I am saying this? Because this is an issue. Swamiji, you are teaching okay, but I'm not qualified. I am not qualified. Or I am qualified. I have a lot of vairagya, Swamiji. I have this. It's also issue. You are free from sadhan chatushtaya sampatti. If I am free from sadhu, why should I acquire? But we are saying that I who acquires is a different I. You said, why should I acquire? That I is not the Satchidananda or Sakshi. Yeah. I is free from everything, basically. I doesn't have a viveka, I doesn't have a vairagya, I doesn't have a mumukshutvam. It's all mine. It's all mine. There is a mumukshutvam in the mind, and pramada identifies with that pramana bhaga, and well says, I am having a mumuksha, etc. This is how it is. Okay, so verse number 20, etc. we'll see now in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.